Hello, friends. Welcome to the February online card class. Tonight, we are going to be using the Terrific Toadstools stamp set and punch to make 3 fabulous handmade cards, including a fun fold card. I am so excited to get started. I am Heidi with Onigo Stamping. I'm going to help you reconnect with your inner artist by using stamps, ink, and paper to make beautiful handmade cards and gifts that are going to wow your friends and family. If you are here and joining me live, leave me a comment. Let me know if you're stamping along with me tonight or if you're just watching. And if you are here and watching the replay, special welcome to you as well. I hope you'll leave me a comment. Let me know if you stamped along with the replay or if you just watched and maybe are going to stamp later. So I am excited to get started tonight. I'm going to go ahead and make my workspace look just a little bit bigger so we can dive in to what we are doing. Hello, Virginia and Heather and Catherine. I am so glad you all are here. And Janice, you just got done making a birthday card. Awesome. Virginia, you're going to be stamping along. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right. Here is the Terrific Toadstools stamp set that I am using tonight, which I love this stamp set. I've had so much fun with this stamp set. Along with this, we're using the Toadstool Gardens pattern paper. This is one of the celebration items. You can get it free with a $60 order. So really awesome deal. Grab that, grab some ink pads and grab the stamp set and the punch as a bundle, add some ink pads and some cardstock, and then get the pattern paper free. It's so cute. It's got some fun patterns on there, some a little bit psychedelic looking patterns. And then the back has just kind of some more subdued patterns. We're going to be using these tonight for the most part. So if you got the card kit, you have the supplies all ready to go for you. If you didn't get the card kit and you want all of the complete measurements and the tutorials and everything, you can get that from my tutorial store. Actually, I might not quite have gotten it up. It will be up probably tomorrow. You can get it from my tutorial store. It's going to have the tutorials for tonight's cards. These are not tonight's cards. It's going to have the tutorials for the cards we're doing tonight, as well as tutorials for these cards that I did last month. So you get 6 tutorials in that bundle, which is really awesome. And if you got the card class, either you earned it free or you ordered it, you also get those 6 tutorials. All right, we're going to start out by cutting the designer series paper that we need so that we're ready to go with it later on. It looks like lots of people are joining us. Hello, Tiffany and Ellen and Kim and Dorothy and Beth. Wow, so many fun people tonight. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut. The first one we need this birch bark looking piece. And we're going to cut this 3.5 by 2 1/4. And I want it to be 2 1/4. I want it to be 3.5 this way and 2 1/4 this way. All right. Although it doesn't really matter. If you end up with one or the other, it's not going to make a difference. So we're going to cut this 2 1/4. All right. 2 1/4 by 3.5. 2 1/4 by 3.5 for that piece. And then we want to grab the kind of pink one with mushrooms on it, the pink mushroomy paper. This one is going to be 4 1/4 by 5.5. And we do want to make sure that it goes this way. So we're going to cut it 4 1/4 like this, 4 1/4. And then we're going to cut it 5.5 this way. All right. So that one is 4 1/4 by 5.5. Right. And then we need 2 more pieces. We need this kind of orange and pink stripe piece. And then we need this pink piece. This pink piece, first of all, is going to be 1 3/4. So 1 3/4 by 5.5. So this pink piece is 1 3/4 by 5.5. And then the stripe piece is 2 1/4 by 5.5. So I'm going to cut it 2 1/4 and then 5.5. 2 1/4 by 5.5. All right. And then the bonus extra pieces, you can just set those aside. Those are going to be for making whatever cards you want to make later on. And we're going to dive in to card number 1. So for card number 1, we need that first piece of the birch looking paper that we cut. That was 3.5 by 2.25. And then we're going to dump out the guts of this bag right here. All right, that's all of them. We have an envelope. We'll save that. There's a small piece of pebbled path. There's a small piece of basic white. We have 2 4 by 5.25 inch pieces of white, a 4 by 5.25 inch piece of gray granite, and this was embossed with the birch 3D embossing folder. And then we have smaller pieces of gray granite and pebbled path. And then the base to the card is gray granite. So this is 8.5 by 5.5. I've scored it in half for you if you have the card kit. And all we're going to do is we are going to start by folding it in half. And I'll give it a good squish with my bone folder. All right. And let's go ahead and glue a bunch of these pieces down, get them out of our way. So I'm going to start with this piece that is embossed with that birch 3D. I got my green glue ready to go. Now, lots of you have the card kit. Lots of you earned the card kit free by ordering in January, which is so much fun. It's so awesome that you can get that free. Right now, if you place at least a $75 order in February, you will get the March online card class for free. And that class is going to be using the One More Year stamp set, which is really fun. We're going to make some birthday cards with it. So, all right, then I have this other piece of gray granite. And we'll adhere that on top. This card is going to come together so fast. So we'll adhere this on top. There's no coloring tonight. So that's going to make everything go faster, I think. All right. And then I have that piece of pebbled path. And the pebbled path is going to go next. And we'll just put that in the center of the gray granite. Just kind of working our way up here. Oh no, Beth, you're still waiting for your kit to arrive. Oh, that's so sad. I think I sent them out like last week, Monday. The mail is just so slow these days. It used to be really fast. All right. And then we're going to put that piece of the pattern paper right on top. And then we get to do some stamping. So we're just setting that all up so it's ready to go. And we'll come in and we will do a little bit of stamping for this card. I just wanted to. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do, we're going to make two mushrooms. We're going to make a round one and a less round one. And I always like to look at how the punch is set up. And that's how we'll go ahead and stamp it. I'm not going to worry about trying to line these up, but I at least want to get it so that like the right edge is facing the paper. So, all right, I'm going to take this big roundy one. We're going to stamp this with pumpkin pie. So that is step number 1. Stamp this with some pumpkin pie. So pretty. And then we're going to do the less rounded one. The less rounded one. So that's this one right here. You can see that. We're doing this in Melon Mambo. So we're going to ink this up in Melon Mambo. And we'll just stamp that right on here as well. There we go. And we need to stamp the sentiment. I'm going to pull out my pebbled path. And that little piece of white. We're going to stamp the sentiment. The sentiment for this one is the "You Are Magical" sentiment. So I'll ink that up in some Pebbled Path. And I'm going to stamp this in the middle of the white because we're actually going to cut the ends into banners. So I'm going to try to get it kind of centered. So just like that. Now I want to go ahead and stamp the inside of my card. So I'm going to pull out the other piece of basic white. We have 2 pieces of basic white in here. And I am going to stamp the Pebbled Path. I'm going to do the stem of a mushroom in Pebbled Path. And then I'm going to grab, this is my favorite little extra bonus one. This one that has 3 on it. You're waiting in Grand Rapids. I'm so sorry about that. I'm going to have to look into those because they went out plenty of time. All right. So I'm just going to stamp some of these little 3 ones, and I think I'm going to do just another. Do it like this over here. I'm going to get a whole bunch of what do I want to say? Ooh, a little mushrooms on there. I'm losing my words. I'm sidetracked. All right, we're going to ink up this less rounded mushroom top again and stamp that right on there. So the good thing is, even if you don't have your kit yet, when it comes, you can always watch the replay if you need to watch along again as you're making it. So the replay is here for you whenever you want to watch it. All right, I'm going to ink up the little tiny baby mushrooms. I don't know why I find these ones so adorable, but I do. I'll stamp these on here. These are getting in pumpkin pie. So there we go. There's our piece for the inside. Should we do the envelope too? Let's do the envelope too. Let's do it all. All right. I'm just going to ink up this little 3 one. We'll just put that. We'll just do that one. And add some little mushroom tops to it. There we go. So cute. Adorable. All right. Let's keep building our card. I'm going to set the inside and the envelope aside for a minute. So for the sentiment, I'm going to use some snips and we're going to cut a banner end. So I'm going to try to move this up higher. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut in the center and then we'll cut from the outside corners down to the center of that cut. And that's just going to give us a little banner end. We'll do the same thing on the other side. There we go. So that just gives us a fun little banners on the outside there. All right. Now we want to use the punch. Use my Terrific Toadstools punch. The punches have a lock on the bottom of them, and that just slides back and forth. So when it's closed, it's locked, and you can just slide up that lock, and then it will open it up so you can punch. And we'll come in here. Now, what is different about this punch is most of our punches leave like a little white edge around the outside. This one does not. This isn't going to leave any edge. It's just going to punch it out. So a little bit different than a lot of our punches or the dies. We'll punch that, and then we'll come down here and punch the pink one. I know I'm going to get an extra white one. That's okay. There's the pink one. And now the stems for these, I'm going to punch out of this piece of Pebbled Path. We're just going to have cardstock stems. There's pieces flying everywhere over here. The pieces are flying. All right. So now let's go ahead and start putting this together. The first thing I like to do is I like to put the stems on my mushrooms. All right. And I want my stems, the reason I didn't stamp these, that I punched these out of cardstock instead of stamping them and punching them, is I want them to go 2 different ways. And when it's out of cardstock, I can just flip it over. All right. So my little pink one is the stem's gonna kind of go towards the left, and the orange one, the stem's gonna go towards the right. And the first thing I like to do is just take a little bit of green glue, a tiny little bit, and put the stem on the mushroom. All right. And we'll do the same thing with that orange one. You're going to put a tiny little bit of adhesive on there, and then put the stem on there. So just like that. And we have 2 little mushrooms. And now we'll flip those over and pull out our dimensionals. So if you haven't seen them before, Stampin' Dimensionals are just little foam bits. They're little foam like adhesive with adhesive on both sides. I like to pull from the middle when I pull the first one. This is kind of a debate between stampers. Are we going to pull from the middle, or do you start on the outside edge? I pull from the center. I just like to pull from the center. So I'm going to go ahead and put 2 of these on each of my little mushrooms. All right, put those on the mushroom caps. I'm going to peel off the backing so they're sticky and ready to go. And then I'm going to grab my green glue again, and I'm going to put just a little bit of green glue at the bottom of the stems. I like it to look like they are like growing out of the paper. So I like to put a little bit of green glue down there. And then we'll just pop this on the front so the stem gets stuck to the paper, and then the tops are kind of popping up. Put that one up there. There's my 2 little mushrooms on there. They're so cute. You start on the short end. All right, good to know. Not in the center like me. I'm like, we're just starting from the center. All right, I want to put my sentiment on dimensionals as well, so it is popped up. All right, we're just doing 3. I don't want it to get smushed down in the center, so I'm just doing 3 on there. All right, we have 3 dimensionals, and we're just going to pop this on just like that. Soup's easy. Let's put the inside our card before we forget. And then we'll put the sequins on, because we got to add a little bit of bling, even though they're mushrooms. We need bling with our mushrooms. Doesn't everyone? Don't mushrooms always need bling? All right. We'll just pop that inside. So cute. And then for this, I'm using the purple sequins. These are also a celebration item. You can get them free with a $60 order. And I'm going to use the white ones on this. I like to use my Take Your Pick tool to put my sequins on. So I'm going to start by using a big one. I'm going to put a big one up here and kind of tuck it partially under my mushroom cap. And then do a small one. I'm using white on these. I don't know. It just seemed to work well. And we'll put one down here too. So there we go. There is card number 1. Kim, you like that? Janice, you like the color combo? Well, good. This is the color combo kind of for the evening. So isn't that cute? So fun. You are magical. And then a few mushrooms on the inside. Just super fun. All right. That was card number 1. I'm not even going to worry about cleaning up my stamps, because I'm literally going to use the same colors. The same colors on the same stamps. I'm not going to put that away, because I'm going to use that. All right. Let's work on card number 2. Card number 2 is going to be our fun fold card. And I think it's so much fun. I hope you guys like it as much as I do. So for this card, you need from your stack of the pattern paper that we already cut. We need the one that is pink with the little mushrooms on it. This was 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then we're going to dump out the guts for card number 2. What was the small pebbled path for? It was for cutting out the stems. That's what we punched the stems for the mushrooms out of. All right. Card number 2. We again have a piece of white for doing some stamping and cutting. We have an envelope again. We have a piece of scrap. Yours might not be this long. This is gray granite. A small piece of white and a small piece of melon mambo. These go together. We have a hexagon of melon mambo. These were cut with the cute as can be dies. Isn't that cute? And then we have another piece of white. Let me see. These 2 pieces are different size. So the smaller one is going to be for stamping on. The larger one is for our card. Okay. And this is actually basic white thick. So it's a little bit thicker. So the larger flat white one is for the base of the card. And then the one with the hole in it is also for the base of the card. And somehow I got schmutz on mine. Don't know how that happened. It's okay. Hopefully you don't have schmutz on yours. I'm going to take my schmutz eraser to it. There. All right. So this piece, look at that. It has a giant hexagon cut from the center of it. This was cut with those cute as can be dies. It has score marks on both sides. And the first thing we're going to do is we will go ahead and we will fold these. So I'm going to fold towards the back, all right, on the inside score line. And then we'll fold the next score line, we'll fold it back towards you. All right. So hopefully you can see that. I folded it that way and then back forward. So it looks like that. And we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So the center score line will fold towards the back. And then the next one will fold back towards the front. All right. So it looks like that when you're done. And then this will eventually go on our piece of white. But first, we need to put our pattern paper on there. So I have that piece of pattern paper, and this is going to go right on the front and look super pretty. It's going to look pretty. So when I did this, I cut it a little bit smaller, but that's okay. I don't know why I changed the directions. One never knows. All right. So we're just going to adhere this right to that flat piece of white. It should fit exactly. They're the same size. It doesn't quite, if it, like mine is showing a little bit at the top, that does not matter. So just like that. And then we are going to adhere this to the front. All right, so it pops up like that. So I'm just going to take my green glue and I'm going to put green glue on this side and on this side. Let's just do it all at once. I think I can do it at once. I hope. And then we just want to line this up so it matches. All right, so the edges match. And my piece was a little bit small. I think I'm going to do a little bit of trimming when I'm done. Because look, it's like sticking out a little bit. So I'm just going to trim that up. We'll trim up the sides and we'll trim up the top. And that will make it super, super duper, super duper. So I just wasn't perfect in my cutting. We'll just trim that off. There we go. I'll just trim that off the top. It was sticking up a little bit, like things do. I don't know, like it's so hard to get your cutting perfect. And then this is just sticking out a little bit. So I'm just gonna come in here with my paper snips and just carefully cut off this side. There we go. There, all cleaned up. Easy peasy. Isn't that cute? All right, now we got to make it even cuter. So that's what it looks like from the top. It's going to be able to stand up all on its own, just like that. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of stamping, get our stamping ready here. Just like last time, I'm going to stamp the round one in pumpkin pie. Now you could change this up if you wanted to. I apparently really liked this color combination. All right. So I'm going to stamp this one in pumpkin pie. And I'm going to stamp the other one in melon mambo. There we go. And while I have the melon mambo out, I'm going to stamp the sentiment as well. So on this small piece of white, I'm going to pull out my sentiment that says, pop it up to say hi. And I'm going to stamp that in the center. We're not going to trim this piece at all. So go ahead and try to get it straight and centered as best you can. And we'll just put that on there, popping up to say hi. We can put away the pink and let's punch out our pieces. So we're going to punch out the pumpkin pie one, and we will punch out the melon mambo one. And now I'm going to come back in and we're going to do one more thing of stamping. This time I'm using the Granny Apple Green ink pad because we're going to stamp a little bit of ground. So I'll just ink up my Granny Apple Green with that ground piece. How's everyone doing on their stamping? Hopefully it's going okay. All right, so I'm just stamping that round piece just like that. All nice and pretty green. And for this, I'm just going to fussy cut it. You're going to do this fun fold again live. So you're going to watch live again and stamp along. That's a good idea. This one, yeah, it's not too hard though. It's pretty straightforward. So I'm just going to cut this out. Now, normally when I am fussy cutting something, I go ahead and I leave a little bit of white space, a little bit of a border around it. But because the tops of the mushrooms don't have a border, for this one, I'm not going to leave a border. I'm just going to cut right on that edge or just inside the edge, which feels so weird to me, but that's what we're doing on this one. Which means if you want to change the shape a little bit, you can. So actually cutting right inside. Oops. So there we go. Just cut out a little bit of grass, some grass. And then the last thing we need to cut is we need to grab that skinny little piece of gray granite, if I can remember the color, the skinny little piece of gray granite, and we're just going to punch. We're going to punch the stems. We're going to punch the stems again. Now for this one, the one that is going to go this way, I am going to come in and I'm just going to cut a little bit off the top. It was a little bit longer than what I wanted. Just a little bit more. I do kind of try to like just turn it just a little bit, give it a little bit of a curve, but I just cut just a tiny bit off the top just to make it a little bit shorter. All right, let's start gluing some things. Once again, I'm going to glue my stems to my mushrooms. So we're going to put the slightly shorter one on the melon mambo mushroom. It's moving around, sticking more to my finger than the mushroom, as sometimes happens. There we go. And then we're going to put the other one kind of facing the other way. So again, I turned them over so they were going 2 different directions. You like this bendy one that's in process? Yeah. It's a fun little card. All right. So this one's going to kind of bend towards the right on my mushroom stem. There we go. We have a pink mushroom and an orange mushroom. All right. We have to do a difficult part. We are going to adhere this pink hexagon to the front. And I say this is difficult because it's very thin. I did not put adhesive sheet on this because it was such a big piece. It would take a lot of adhesive, but not really use a lot of adhesive. So I'm just putting a very, very thin line of green glue on here. Very, very thin line. Again, these were cut with the Cute as Can Be dies. Probably should have done this before I put it together. Not always thinking. All right, so that's just going to go right on there. It's going to leave a little bit of a white edge. Doesn't that look so cool? I just love the way that looks. I really love these dies. They're really growing on me. All right, I want to take my sentiment, and the sentiment that we stamped is going to get adhered to a piece of melon mambo. And this is going on the melon mambo. And then we'll put this on with dimensionals on the inside. So pop this up. I love dimensions. So that's why I always love like window cards and things, the things that look like there's even more dimension to it. So we got that, and this is just going to slide inside. Just like that, popping up to say hi. And then we will add the grass for our mushrooms to grow out of. I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of the grass as well. Dimensionals on everything. I want to cut just a little bit. Just want to add some little pieces to the end. I'm out of mini dimensionals. I need to order some more minis. So there we go. Because I wanted to put extras on here because it's going to bend with it. You just got the dies and the mushroom bundle. It's such a fun one. All right. So we're going to put our little bit of grass on here. And then we can add our mushrooms. Now, when we're putting these mushrooms on, we have to be a little bit careful because we don't want to glue the mushrooms down to the inside of this hole, right? Because then our card wouldn't stand up properly. So we kind of need to look on here and say, okay, I'm going to put a dimensional right over on this side. So I know my finger's right here. It's going to go right there. We'll add a dimensional. And then just like the last card, I'm going to put glue on the bottom of it. So I'm putting just a little bit of glue on the bottom, dimensional on the top. And we will add this one to our card. There we go. And then let's see what this one's going to do. So this one, we're going to come in here. And again, I'm going to put, I think I'm going to try to put just a little bit of a dimensional up here at the top where it kind of overlaps. I'm going to put just a little half of one up there. And then I'm going to put adhesive at the bottom. We'll just have these popping up all over the place, which I love. Oh, that's really, really closer than what I wanted. It's all good. All right, we'll hold that down so it sticks. There we go. Ah, so much fun. All right. let's add a couple sequins. So we add some sequins. So I have the adhesive back sequins again. These are the purple adhesive back sequins, even though they're actually white and purple and pink, but they call them purple for some reason. I'm going to take a big one, pop it right there. And then let's take a little one and put it next to it. And then I think I'll take another big one. And I'm going to put that like right here. So there we go. There is our fun 3D card. It's going to stand up all on itself if your table is not wonky. There we go. You can write a sentiment or whatever on the back and send that to somebody. And it pops up. It says popping up to say hi. And when you pull it out of the envelope, it's going to pop up, which I thought was perfect. So there we go. All right. That was card number 2. We are moving right along. Going to go on to card number 3. And I'm going to clean my stamps this time because I did switch colors. Okay, we're using the same colors, but I switched a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and clean off my stamps so they're cleaner. But it means I have a lot of stamps to clean now. Clean them all. All right. Card number 3. So for this card, we want to grab the other 2 pieces of pattern paper that you cut. So we cut kind of this melon mambo one and then the striped one. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to adhere these together. I'm going to adhere my melon mambo pink one to the center of the striped one. So we'll just make it one. There we go. We'll add that right over top of it. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. And then let's dump out the gut for card number 3. That's it. Again, we have an envelope. We have a piece of white. This is going to be for the inside of the card. We have 2 squares, a melon mambo square and a pumpkin pie square. And then we have a circle that I punched out for you. And then the card base is going to be, what color is this? Pumpkin pie. It's going to be pumpkin pie. All right. I'm going to fold this, get it out of my way. Let's do our stamping first. So I have my little circle. I'm going to start by stamping my sentiment with Pebbled Path. And for this one, I'm using this little thank you sentiment. It says, just a little thank you, which I think is so sweet. And I want to stamp this in Pebbled Path on my circle of white. And I'm going to stamp it towards the right, kind of towards the bottom right quadrant of this. So there we go, just like that. right? And then I want to take my, got really wet when I cleaned it. I'm going to take my stem and I'm going to stamp the stem in Pebbled Path as well. And I'm just going to stamp it over here. And then I want to take, remember these fun free ones? We're going to take those again. And I'm going to kind of stamp those like up here. Well, I think I went super wild with those that time, but that's okay. All right. And then let's do the inside. While we're doing this, let's do the inside and the envelope as well. So I'm going to take my three little, so many ideas bouncing in your head. Yeah, so many ideas. All right, I'm going to take this little 3-1. We're going to stamp that down in the corner. Let's grab the envelope. Maybe let's do a bigger one on the envelope this time. Let's do the one with the funkiness. There we go. And then we'll grab us the pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie. We'll stamp a little pumpkin pie. I'm going to stamp the less rounded one with pumpkin pie on here. There we go. Let's stamp this one on our envelope too. All right. And then we're going to stamp the little ones in Melon Mambo. There's the Melon Mambo. Here's our three little mushrooms. Stamp those right there. Oh, they're so cute. And we'll stamp these 3 on here. There we go. Oh, so cute. Adorable. All right. Pull back out our card base. Let's adhere this to the inside. Add a little green glue to the back. Now, next month, we're going to be making birthday cards with the One More Year stamp set, which is so cute. I think it's funny. It's funny. It's got funny little sentiments. And I'm going to share some cards with that this week, Thursday. So if you want to kind of get a preview of what the set is like, I'm going to be sharing some cards with it on Thursday night. So, and of course, then those tutorials will be in the tutorial bundle as well. So, all right. Just adhering my pattern paper to the front. And then I'm going to I cut these backwards. Huh. Well, all right, everyone, we cut these backwards. So it was supposed to be pink on the bottom and orange on top. And somehow the dimensions got messed up and I cut them backwards. Oh no, but it's okay. We'll just use them like that. I'm going to adhere the Melon Mambo to the square of pumpkin pie. The stem was Pebbled Path. So tonight we only use pumpkin pie, Melon Mambo, Pebbled Path, and Granny Apple Green. Keeping things simple tonight. All right, so I'm going to adhere the piece of Melon Mambo to pumpkin pie, because somehow I cut them wrong. And then I'm going to put this on with some dimensionals. Give it a little pop. We'll pull the backs off. That one I missed. There we go. This goes right on the front. I don't think it matters that we switch the colors. There we go. And then I'm going to put on my sentiment piece, my stamped piece with dimensionals as well. I love dimensionals. Dimensionals are my favorite thing. I feel like that's how you know the card is handmade, because it has lots of dimensionals and sequins and like funny blingy things. All right. I was in Chicago this weekend and somehow a dimensional managed to follow me all the way to my hotel room. Looked down. I was like, there's a dimensional. All right, there is that. Let's add a little bling to the front of this. This time I'm going to use kind of the Melon Mambo ones. And I'm just going to use big ones. And I'm just putting them in like a line. And these, I have been loving on these sequins. Look how many I've used. Wow. So much fun. All right. So there's our card with our little sequins on there. Here's what it looks like if you did it with pumpkin pie in front. I don't know. Does it make a difference? Tell me what you think. All right. And then the inside with just little mushrooms. And of course, we have the envelope with a mushroom on it as well. So those are our 3 cards from tonight. Fun little mushroom cards. I never loved mushrooms as much as I love this mushroom set. Anyway, you ordered so many of the sequins. They're so pretty. Thank you all for joining me tonight. I am so glad that you are here. I hope that you enjoyed these cards. I'll be back again on Thursday with some cards using the One More Year stamp set. And don't forget, if you want to earn the free make and take kit for next month's online card class, all you have to do is place a $75 order. It gets you a free card kit for next month's card class. It's going to get you a free celebration item as well. So yeah, all the good stuff. If you have any questions or need help with anything, I am here for you. Just send me an email. Have a fabulous night, and I will see you again on Thursday.